Hey, hi, I'm Chris. Every day I do a vlog. I'm doing one for 1,000 days, guys, for 1,000 days. So if you're not subscribed, a subscribe will be absolutely awesome. And today I'm going to talk about something uniquely different from yesterday and the day before. Today it's about, do you ever feel guilty about anything? Is there anything from your past that haunts you? And how do you deal with that? I would say everybody experiences this. Everybody. I guess in life, we learn by making mistakes, and some of those mistakes are very much intentional, and those mistakes can haunt us for a lifetime, for a very long time. So those mistakes obviously can vary. Feeling guilty, the level of that guilt can obviously dissipate with time, but it can make you feel, I guess, like it's carrying around baggage with you. We've all done things, we've all said things, we've all wished that we could turn the clock back, we all wish that we could do something completely different at a different time, but we don't have the luxury of going back, do we? We really don't. Feeling guilty about something that we've done or said, well, it's part of the human condition. It really is. There's one thing that I wanted to share with you that I've never ever forgotten, is that I've spoken about this before, where my brother, when I was 8, he was 10, and unfortunately he passed away because of cancer, and it was just a terrible event for him and the family and everyone involved. And anybody experiencing that, they'll know that it's just a horrible thing. So I guess for me, my guilt about that was twofold. One was not being able to articulate enough, I guess because I was my age was only 8, that I needed to spend more time with him. I didn't realise how valuable that time was. So I regret not saying to my mum more, I want to spend more time with David. And I've thought about that an awful lot. And the foolish side of guilt says, when I was at home, he got released from hospital, and he pretended very much to feed me these Smartie sweets, chocolate sweets, in order to make me feel better. I was pretending to be poorly, he was playing out as the doctor, and I pretty much ate most of his sweets. And I always felt guilty about that. And how crazy is that, to have that guilt hang over you all this time? I've never forgotten it. It stayed with me my entire life. And it's a silly kind of guilt, isn't it? And there are other things, you know, the more that you grow and develop and you move on in life, you realise that there are things that we do that we feel guilty about. And quite rightly so. You know, it's our conscience. It's our checklist that's saying to us, hey, come on, you messed up here. Don't ever forget this, because I don't want you repeating that ever again. And that is quite healthy. That's quite normal, I think, for people to have that. And of course, if you don't feel guilt about anything you do, then what does that say about you as a person? It says that maybe, you know, you're somewhat flawed. Having the ability to put your hands up and say, hey, I did wrong, I'm so sorry. I really am. Feeling guilty about sometimes the most trivial things can try and take over if you let it. And I think for me, I carry around a couple of bags, and I know probably most people do. I guess if you were to speak to any clinical psychologist, they would say actually it's not an unhealthy thing. If you sort of manage it and sort of process it in your mind the way that it should be, that can turn you into probably quite a grounded person. And not making those mistakes and being grounded is best for us when we move forward in life. I've felt guilty about those two things that I mentioned, but I think as a human being, as you grow older, there's probably a lot more stuff that you feel guilty about. Maybe not keeping the connection that you want with people in your life. Maybe you feel guilty about that. Maybe it's guilty about not having done something when you should have done something. Maybe not saying something when really the right time to say something was to tell somebody that you loved them. Maybe not being there for somebody. Maybe feeling guilty about all sorts of things can really ramp up how you feel about life. And that guilt we can carry around with us for a very long time. Like I say, for even a lifetime. I think for me, dealing with guilt in all its forms is something that I say to myself that I try every day. The core of who I am is to be a good, kind, decent person, in spite of some of the things that I've done in my past. I think to err is human, to forgive is divine. Isn't that what the saying goes? And I think you have to forgive yourself. Sometimes you have to say, look, sometimes fate can take a role in what's happened. Sometimes life can have a way of just biting at you. And how you process that, how you move on from that, takes strength. But you've got to dig deep and take that strength and move forward. Everybody, I mean everybody, has bad things happen to them. Some people at a very early age. And those memories stay with you, like I say, for a lifetime. Sometimes it can be when you get older. You experience something, you never forget it. It could be anything from a car accident. It could be absolutely anything. It could be, even something on a more deeper personal level. And I think one of the skills of being a human being is saying to yourself, I'm not going to forget this. I'm going to learn from it. And I'm going to move on from that. If you can do that, then you're an amazing person. Not ever repeating that mistake which made you feel guilty is so important. Don't repeat it. If you can say sorry, well, that's a skill as well. Not everybody wants to. Not everybody feels that they have to, and they come from a place of defense when the words sorry are there. Especially if people want you to say sorry, they want you to be remorseful for something that you've said or done. And if you don't, you could have guilt around that. You could feel guilty about not apologizing. We're only human at the end of the day. We have all these traits given to us by the man upstairs, if you believe that, of course. And we all have similar characteristics. So we are a shadow of each other when we're walking around. We're all connected in some way or another. We all have similar wants, needs, desires. And formulating a way forward is tough in the easiest of times. And it seems to me that it can get a lot tougher the older you get. You seem to be maybe a bit more resilient when you're younger. And when you have that resilience, life is doable, isn't it? But when you lack it, it's a bit more tougher. But try not to carry around the guilt with you. It can weigh you down. And very often I say to myself, I'm not religious, but I say a few prayers. And I ask the man upstairs for forgiveness. I've had my moments in life where I thought, Chris, you shouldn't have said that. You shouldn't have done that. And I've been quite, at times, dare I say it, quite firm about me not giving an apology about something that I absolutely should have given an apology to. So maybe to anyone that I've ever upset out there, I apologise. I wish you well. If you feel that you need that from me, and not that I know of anybody out there at this time, but if you do watch me on here and you think, that guy never apologised to me, well, I'm giving it to you now. And I'm saying that the guilt I have about the things that I've said and done of my past, well, I forgive myself. And then maybe forgiving myself, I'm trying to offer meaning and hope and joy to other people by doing stuff for them and being a better person every day. Because isn't that what it's about? Isn't it about being better than you were yesterday, being kinder, being more hopeful, and spread that joy, that warmth around to other people? And again, it's not easy, but that guilt, I think, sometimes serves to remind us that, hey, we're all human. We all make mistakes, don't we? That's why they put erasers at the end of pencils, or rubbers at the end of pencils. That's why we all, we make mistakes. We do. It's trying not to replicate those mistakes over and over. And making mistakes is different from failing, isn't it? It's okay to fail at something. really is. But the two, well, they're just separate. So I handle my guilt in a very methodical way, because I know that my time here is short and I've got to try and enjoy it as much as I can. So if you have got guilt about something, if you're feeling guilt about something, if you can maybe repair it, rectify it, make it right, offer somebody that sort of approach and say to them, I'm sorry I made you feel that way. That's not a bad thing. Saying sorry, actually, I've learned the power of it. I really have. It's funny, actually. It takes a long time, but sometimes all people want to hear is that you're sorry for having said or done something that they feel is wrong, and because you can hang on to the guilt for not having done that. So don't feel guilty. Make the wrongs right, and I think that's not a bad place to go. Anyway, as always, I do a daily vlog here on YouTube, so thank you so much for subscribing. I really appreciate you, and I'll be back again tomorrow with something completely different. I'll see you then. Bye now.